I move fast. I move with purpose. Anyone who has ever spent time with me has absent-mindedly followed me at least once. I never look blind because apparently I really look like I know where I'm going. I've never seen out of my right eye. I have a 5-degree field of light out of my left. I acquired my double engineering degree at Oregon State University, electrical engineering and computer science. I worked full-time the duration, paying for tuition and expenses out of pocket. In my spare time, I ran full-length marathons and one ultramarathon, a 35-mile run. I went on to be a software engineer at Microsoft. I worked evenings and weekends to get my master's degree in executive leadership. In my spare time, I ran 2 full-length Ironman distance triathlons. I have since become your 5-time U.S. national champion in the sport of sprint distance paratriathlon. I am your 3-time continental champion for North and South America. I am your 2-time bronze medalist for World Championship. I am your world record holder for fastest blind and low vision Ironman distance triathlon. I will be your U.S. representative for the 2016 Paralympics. In 2012, I had the unique honor of being named United States Association of Triathlon Athlete of the Year. What a high and low moment for my athletic career. I had opportunity to bring a companion where I would be giving an acceptance speech at the Milwaukee Art Museum. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What a low moment for me. I had no one to share that with. I had no one to bring with me. My perceived disability is blindness. My true disability, what I am disabled by, is addiction to external validation. In April of 1986, my family structure eroded in a violent and nasty divorce. I have made a commitment to never air the family business publicly. But I can say this: I knew anything I said at the age of 5 could be misconstrued. I knew attracting attention to myself meant attracting the next attack. I became expert at hiding in plain sight. A few short months after our family structure dissolved, I was with my dad on a pier in Port Angeles, Washington. My dad is known for his humor. A seal swam up near us, and my dad was pointing it out, and he was telling me that that seal was within arm's reach. I was 5 years old. I looked, and I didn't see anything. I was pretty sure I was just the butt of a joke. I didn't think anything of it. This was my dad's first inkling that something wasn't right. He thought maybe I needed glasses. We went to every optometrist and eye doctor in the Port Angeles area. I loved going to the eye doctor because I loved these flimsy glasses that used to be taped to my shoulder. Here they are. I loved these glasses. I thought when you got these flimsy glasses, you had an instant disguise. You put on these glasses at the optometrist, and all of a sudden nobody knows where you went. Where in the world did Patricia go? Just like all of you are asking yourselves right now. After countless misdiagnoses, I went to Seattle Children's Hospital, where I would see my first neuro-ophthalmologist. I sat in another doctor's office while they shined ever brighter lights in my dilated eyes. It took the neuro-ophthalmologist seconds to see that the nerve in my right eye was dead and the nerve in my left eye was dying. We were rushed into an emergency MRI. I was a hypervigilant child, adept at sensing tensions heightening. The nurse saw my expression of concern, and she offered me a white teddy bear. I took that bear out of politeness to her, but I had a feeling that bear could not help me. MRI revealed an advanced calcified craniopharyngioma, a brain tumor above the pituitary gland, underneath the cortex of the optic nerve. The grave expression on my doctor's face was all I needed to know. I thought to offer him the bear, I knew it couldn't help him either. I was rushed into emergency surgery, bound to a hospital bed, my arms and legs restrained. encircled by doctors and nurses, murmuring a language of comfort and care and consolation that could have been a foreign language. I went mute. I wanted to be invisible. I thought surely if I could just convince them that I was a good kid, they would let me go. I hated the feeling of being restrained. All the defenses that had always helped me dodge the next attack were no match. I was in surgery for 11 hours, conscious on and off. My last clear visions were of my own dissection. Damage to my pituitary gland left my brain tricking my body into believing I was dying of thirst. In recovery, the nurses were feeding me ice chip after ice chip after ice chip. I bit a nurse. I had been reduced to animalistic instincts. The nurses were desperate to offer me comfort, and she said, "Just a few minutes, and we'll let your family come in." I panicked. Conflicts had been relentless and explosive. I asked her to not let them in. I begged her to give me more time. As it would turn out, they do not let 5-year-olds make this type of decision. My family felt outed. Once my support network was allowed in, there existed anger towards me. There existed blame. I was held accountable for the social consequence of honesty in my most broken moment. I felt with every breath that I was not normal and that my otherness was to be hidden and explained away. Many dramas played out that day, but not a single one of them had to do with the best interest of a hurting child. I had questions. I wanted to know why conflicts couldn't have been quieted for one day. I wanted to know why my pain existed only in a blind spot. I wanted to know why I wasn't worth more. At the age of 5, the only answer I could surmise was I wasn't worth more because somehow I hadn't earned it. I want you to think for a second about the person you know to be the most confident person you've ever met. My circle tells me the most confident person they've ever met is me. What they don't realize is that my overachievement is a veil for very deep hurts. I am 35 years old. I'm still dodging the next attack. My constitution had been of invisible child. Well, today it's more of a dare. I dare you to try. The manifestation is different, protective, all the same. I saw my own worth as tarnished and fading. The birth of an overachiever desperately chasing competence to fill the void of personal worth, hoping that the next hurdle cleared would be the one to mend my broken sense of value. Lack of fulfillment with accolades served as self-fulfilling proof that I was damaged goods. Achievement requires esteem. Esteem is fueled by both competence, what you do, and worth, awareness of your inherent value as a human being. A stifled sense of worth can leave a seemingly successful person a person who is struggling secretly. I spent years trying to heal deep wounds through the distraction of achievement. What I did not know then that I know now is that your worth, your inherent value, transcends the most impressive thing you've ever done. Your value is bigger than your biggest achievement. In 2014, 2 years ago, I received a phone call. My dad's a doctor. He launched into the details of my dad's health. He thought I knew. My dad had not yet told me. They were testing for a terminal illness. The prospect of losing my most consistent person was deeply unsteadying. I flew to Michigan to help sort out details and diagnosis. While in Michigan, I received a second unexpected phone call. My neighbor, she was upset. She says, "Don't worry, I have your dog." I say, "Well, why in the world do you have my dog?" She was surprised I didn't know. A random attack, April Fool's 2014, 2 years ago from yesterday. My house had been hit by an arson. My fortress was burning down. Dad did the only thing he knows to do. He wanted to lighten the mood, so he launched into jokes. He said, "Well, who did you piss off this time?" And he laughed. The flames were not put out yet. As far as I was concerned, the mood was lit up enough. I am calm under pressure. I spoke the words. I'm not ready to joke about this. When I felt broken down to my most bare components, it took all my strength to have the presence of mind to maintain empathy. Well, again, my well-being existed only in a blind spot. I flew home with the intention of rebuilding my fortress. I missed 1 day of workouts. I missed 2 days of work. I had a motivational speech to give 4 days after my fire. I had the final draft of my book due 7 days after my fire. Nothing got dropped. I didn't miss a deadline. My well-being existed in my own blind spot. I felt like surely if I can do Ironman, I can do this. Any second that I couldn't operate at my 110% level felt like a failure. As long as I can remember all my life, I've heard, you are an army of one. You are a machine. You are a powerhouse. You are a linebacker of life. You are unstoppable. You are not normal. Sometimes spoken as an affirmation of strength, which I love. Sometimes spoken dripping with resentment, which I do not love. There is disservice in my detachment. A week after my fire, a close friend of mine said to me that she thought it was amazing that nothing ever upset me. I thought it was really amazing that people believed that. The people who I knew and loved the most had no idea how badly I was hurting. It was with the onset of compounding crisis that I saw how ineffective my defenses had become. I knew in order to rebuild my fortress this time, I was going to have to step out of the shadows and be seen as a whole person. And when I did, the outpouring of kindnesses were awe-inspiring. I received cards, donated clothes, donated furniture. My coworkers at Mazzito handed me an envelope with a few $1,000s of cash. Their financial support helped me rebuild my things, but their gesture changed me as a person. Their generosity to me had nothing to do with my resume. They were compelled out of genuine concern for my sense of well-being. They were compelled out of genuine concern for my safety. They were compelled because they saw my worth. In my athletic career, I have had more wins than I have had losses, and yet I could not describe for you what it feels like to win. The rush of a win is momentary. If your identity is rooted in a win, you will be left wanting for the next rush of validation. I can tell you what it feels like to show up for your last Paralympic qualifying event. Come out of the water strong, in the lead. Get a flat tire. Now you're in the back. Fight back to get fourth. Now you have qualified by a razor's edge margin, which is not how you saw this going. To have a competitor approach you and give you a heartfelt and unexpected hug as she says, "Patricia, I never wanted to win like that." I melted in that moment, a wash of warmth for genuine kindness and a flood of deep respect for good sportsmanship. I can tell you what it feels like to stand on the shores of Rio de Janeiro as your personal hero and dear friend teaches you the ceremonial way of folding our nation's flag. I get goosebumps every time. I intend to continue to chase gold for my country, but this will be the first time that I am chasing achievement for all the right reasons, setting aside the need for external validation and instead using this as an expression of the gift of athleticism, of the gift of work ethic, and of the gift of connection. In allowing connection, have only become stronger, and as a result, I feel like I only have that much more to give back. My illusion, my feeling of impenetrability had roots in defenses, delusion, and denial. Today, my highest aspiration is to be understood as a whole person with all of the uncomfortable complexities of human condition. If I could today, as an adult, go back to 1986 and speak to my young self, I would say, you are not now, you have never been, and you will never be damaged goods. You're a child. You're not to be held accountable for the social consequence of anything. There is nothing you could have done to bring this on yourself. You have nothing to prove. Value isn't earned. To attempt to derive value as a human being through achievement is like trying to pile enough sand to hit the limits of the universe. Achievement and worth are unrelatable quantities. I would say that throughout what I understand to be the fight of your life, you will be alone. There is no lifeline coming. If there's anything I could do to change that, I would do it, but I can't. Your survival instincts are strong. You have a strength that will come from deep within. So please hold hope, because your life is going to get so much better. You will be tested. Every day you will face the same choice. Choose to hide or choose to be seen. To hide is to choose fear, bathing in bitterness, a poison that will harm yourself and others. To be seen is to choose love, to be a source of genuine caring, to be someone who can be trusted to lift others up, someone who is a source of light irregardless of the relentless pressure you feel. You know in the fiber of your being what is the right choice. Fear and bitterness is not for you. Your business is light. Always light, only light, bright light.